Man, hey, what is up? Tell me, you felt that. Did you hear that music? Did you feel the electricity running through your body the way that I feel when I hear the CBS theme song for the SEC? I'm gonna miss that so much. Well, that's for another time. But man, my goodness, we are here. We are officially at the beginning of the college football season. My God, I am juiced up. If you can tell, I'm always a little bit amped up. I'm always a little bit turned, as the kids say. I'm always a little bit lit, as the kids would say. But my goodness, I'm on 100 plus. I'm on 100 times 10 right now. I hadn't even introduced myself. I hadn't even told you what the name of this show is because I'm so damn pumped up. Man, my goodness. We are here. This is Sentell. We're live on YouTube. This is the best damn sports podcast, period. This is the undisputed champion of sports podcasts. And I am the one, the host, the sensational Sentell Wideman, a.k.a. Mr. No Days Off, a.k.a. the one-man dynasty. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my Lord. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, my energy level is on 1,000 right now. I gotta calm down and do this show. We're gonna talk about obviously the game tonight, big game tonight to kick off the season. We got 11 games actually, but only one game that's really featuring obviously one prominent program with a ranked team. The rest is the games tonight are some low level, mid level type matchups. But we'll talk about those two as we go on through the program. I don't know how long I'm staying. I had planned on staying an hour. Let's see how interactive you people can be to keep me here for an hour. I may be half an hour and be out of here, but I know for one thing, I was not gonna be here past 8 o'clock. So that's why we come on at 6:30 tonight. Hopefully we get an interactive crowd. It looked like we got one. Like we got active people already, active hands. Rare Walker already with the symbol of the Florida State Seminoles. He's throwing up spears and tomahawks and whatever else they do down there in Tallahassee. I don't know what Mr. KDD, Florida Gator himself, is in. Red Walker Hayden on the Orange and Blue. But if you come to an Orange and Blue network, that's what you get, an Orange and Blue network. Because, damn it, I'm not going to hide it. I am a Florida fan, true and true. So I'm not about to sit here and act like I'm not excited. I'm not about to act like I'm not going to have my Florida Gator pom-poms out today because I got them out. It's time. Second year of Billy Napier. It's time to get with it. Obviously, let's we only got one bit of news before we get to college football. In NFL, tight end T.J. Hockenson signed a 4-year, $66 million extension, worth $41 million. That's worthy of note because he's now the highest paid tight end in the NFL. Not Travis Kelce, not George Kittle, not Evan Ingram, but T.J. Hockenson. Fine player. Like him a lot. Minnesota Vikings should have a good season. But back on to what we came for. College football is here. Like I said, 11 games tonight. You got some games tomorrow. Miami plays. Nobody really cares. But I'm telling you that because it's Miami. And then Saturday, a full slate of game. And then Sunday, we have the top 10 matchup between LSU, Florida State, which was an absolute barn burner last year. Absolute great game last year. Now they're two top 10 teams. They almost mirror each other, except for the coaches. One coach going to his fourth season, one going to second season. But they got two really good quarterbacks. They bring back a lot of offensive weaponry. I think Florida State probably has more household names on defense side of the ball. We'll see what LSU does, trying to replenish that defense side of the ball. But man, what a ball game! And then Monday night we got Clemson, the upstate, the local team, traveling down to Durham, North Carolina to take on the Duke Blue Devils and Riley Leonard and my new second favorite head coach in college football, Mike Elko. So that should be fun. I mean, this is tremendous, a tremendous day, man. And I've been wide open all day doing some other things, but I finally get to sit down and just kind of take it all in. That's what she said. And it's like, let's get to it. Like I say, we got Florida and Utah tonight, big game. Obviously, the top story of this game is Cam Rising is not going to play tonight for Utah. You're talking about back-to-back Pac-12 champions. Quarterback is not going to be there. A lot of production out of Cam Rising. Also look like the tight end Gaithy is also questionable. They both come off ACL injuries. Just a devastating blow for them. As far as the night go, if they can somehow get by the night and maybe get those guys back, during the meat of the season, they might have a chance to compete again for that Pac-12 championship, which is Pac-12 is really loaded this year. Washington has a really great quarterback. We know what USC got. Oh my goodness. Oh USC. Oh baby. Oh my goodness. I had USC in my Final Four. And I'm not going to retroactively change my pick because I don't do those kind of things. But my God, that defense leaves a whole lot to the desired. I told you people on the damn preview show that defense had to be a lot better than what I saw last year if they're going to get to the college football playoff. Some of the offenses that they're going to play in the Pac-12, UCLA, Michael Penix at Washington. I mentioned Cam Rising at Utah. We don't know quite what Colorado is yet with Shedeur Sanders, but man, just my God. My God, they look bad against San Jose State defensively. Jesus Christ. It was San Jose State. I'm not going to change my pick retroactively, but I don't feel as confident I did last week about USC getting to the Final Four playoffs. A team that my partner had, who's outside the top 10, who thought could make a playoff push, that was Notre Dame. And they look really great. I know they played Navy, but it was the execution. It was the style of play that they had. It was the defense playing a lot better than we saw them play last year. Sam Hartman's going to make a world of difference on that team. I know they play Clemson and USC. I think otherwise the schedule is kind of manageable. And I just think what Sam Hartman brings you is a 24-year-old quarterback who has played a lot of football and been around the block. It's going to help them a lot. He looked really well. They did a lot of play action. He was up on the center a lot. I know people were thinking that they was going to run that similar offense to what Wake Forest does coming into the game, but he was tremendous under the center running play action. And the way they run the football with the offensive lineman that they have, Notre Dame will be someone to reckon with. You better put yourself on notice because Notre Dame is a team to be reckoned with throughout this football season. But USC just make me sick. They just stunk it up. But tonight, Florida and Utah gonna hook it up. And I mentioned about Cam Rising being out. Ray Walker says FSU by 2 scores. I don't know. I guess that's 2 touchdowns. Obviously, this guy. Look, sometimes when you're in the forest, it's hard to see the trees. So you get emotional. I'm pumped up tonight. I'll say some things tonight that I didn't say 6 months ago here into the season. And he's saying things that when Saturday evening comes, he's not gonna say because he don't believe. I don't think he believes that, but he's gonna say that. I mean, that's what he's gonna say. Gators dodged the bullet. Again, anytime any team in the country loses their starting quarterback, a 2-year starter who's taking a team to 2 Rose Bowls, I want to say, and you don't have him, you're gonna struggle. No team in America is probably equipped. You might get one out of 131 division schools that equipped to handle losing your starting quarterback of that caliber. I ain't talking about some fringe starter who beat out some guy in camp. We talking about a guy who we know is gonna start, who we know is gonna contribute, who we know what he brings to the table. We know what Cam Rising represents. So yeah, of course the Gators dodged, but at the same time, this is about Florida. And Billy Napier should be preaching about Florida. We don't control what goes on the other side of that sideline. You control what you can control. It's about us and what we do, how we perform, about what Graham Mertz going to do, what about this new defense going to do. That's what it's about, what Armstrong defense going to do. Is the offensive line play going to be a part? Speaking of which, the offensive line, the starting center for Florida is out for the night's game too. See how much that hurts. He's played a lot of football. He started the last couple of seasons. So he's out. So we got some new guys shuffling around in the front on that front line. Can they handle Utah's stout defensive front on both sides of the ball? Utah's pretty good. But it's going to be about Graham Mertz and the execution. We expect Florida to run the ball a lot, but it's going to be about Graham Mertz. Can he make some plays in the passing game? And for Utah tonight, it's about offensively survival. can we run the ball enough to protect our young quarterback? Can we run it enough? And that's got to be the game plan. This guy's only started one time, and they talking about bringing in one of the other quarterbacks who's more mobile. Have some wildcat stuff in there. So when you have a game plan like that, it's about keeping your quarterback in third and manageable, keeping your quarterbacks in short yardage situation. Can you run the football? They've traditionally been a good running team. Now they lost the starting running back from last year, but the guy who's starting this year has had boatload of experience, played a lot last year, had a lot of carries. So it's about that. For the game go, the injuries are the injuries, but it's the first game of the season, and you got to go out there and do your job. Everything you practicing and been preaching for the last 31 days, since this football season ended, it's all on display tonight. That's what it's all about. It's about you. You go out there and do what you got to do. Damn the opponent. You go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Yeah, Red Walker agrees with me. Notre Dame would be a problem. And see, he with me. We watched that Notre Dame game. I don't know how much you watched. I watched a lot of it because I want to see Sam Hartman in that offense for Notre Dame because I want to see what they were going to do. And my God, when I saw him on the center running the play action stuff, I was like, and if he can be accurate from the play action, good luck with that. Good luck with that. If the Gators lose, if the head coach hot seat heat up, I know it's just one game. No, no. Now look, this point spread is still 6. I mean, before Karen Rising injury, it was 10.5. So the expectation is that Utah's supposed to win the football game, and that's still right now. They're 6 points favorite right now. So the expectation is they're supposed to win the game. Matter of fact, Utah has won their last 12 games at home. They haven't lost a home game in almost 2 years. So with that, no. I think depends on how you lose, obviously, right? If you have one of those things you had in the bowl game against Oregon State, if you did that tonight, now then we're going to have to, because all the good things that he's done, and I love it. I love the stability. I love the structure. I love the CEO mentality. I love the big staff. He seems so detail oriented. I love what he's doing on the recruiting trail. He's bringing in elite level talent, that's what you got to have at Florida to compete with your Georgias and your Bamas and your Ohio States and your Clemsons. Otherwise, you're never gonna compete with those guys. So yes, but if you go out there and get beat like you did in the bowl game, which obviously that was a completely different team than what we got right now. So, but if that was to be the case, then yeah. But if you get into a game like, say the score was like last year's game was 29-26 or 26-23, you play a game against a really good team and they beat you, a 2-time Pac-12 champion, and you play and you lose, no one's going to kill you. But if you get beat like you did in the bowl game, then yes, we're going to have a lot of issues and people will be screaming and crying. I won't be one of those people, but it'll give me pause for cause. I will be concerned if that would be the case. Depending on how you lose. So anyway, Florida, Utah tonight, man. I mean, Graham Mertz is the story. To me, it's Graham Mertz. Without Cam Rising playing tonight, this is about Graham Mertz. 32 career starts, 38 TDs, 26 interceptions, 59% completion. Not very good at Wisconsin. Not very good at all. He had some flashes, but no consistency whatsoever. Anytime he would have a good game, he would immediately follow it up with a bad game. Anytime you have a good game, bad game. Then you'll have several bad games, bad, and then maybe one good game. So the consistency level. But if you look at him, play a lot of football, and he looks like I said about Aaron Rodgers yesterday. He looks free. He looks happy. He looks bought in. He really seems to love this offense. So we'll see what he can do. Again, it's all about what you do on the field. At the end of the day, we talk about Billy Napier being in trouble. Like I said, all that good stuff, building great character, building great men, and all this good stuff. That's all great. That's all well and good. But at the end of the day, this is a bottom line business. It's about wins and losses. And I don't give a damn how many good men and husbands and fathers you make. If you don't win, you will get fired. It's as simple as that. So it's about putting up and shutting up right now. Get on the field and do it. Week one upset alert. Like I mentioned, there's not a lot of ranked opponents playing ranked opponents. There's not a lot of. So you don't really have a lot of those type mixed matches where you call it an upset. You know what? I got one. It's not. And see, that's what I'm saying. Miami, Ohio, gonna beat Miami. I said it. I said it. Miami, Ohio is gonna beat Miami Friday night. I said that. But I don't think nobody's gonna come in here and be like, I'm shocked if Miami, Ohio beat Miami. Would you be shocked? Would you would you be shocked if they beat them? I don't think. I don't think you would be. Um, but yeah, I think Miami, Colorado, and TCU. I think it's a very interesting matchup. TCU lost a lot. Now I don't think TCU's ranked, so they could be. I can't even remember. I have to look to tell me. Let me know if TCU is ranked or not, because that's interesting to me. What Colorado's going to be. Now last year TCU routed them. So what would Colorado be with Shedeur Sanders? Some of the guys they got, defensively, Hunter and Kamani McLean, the 5-star cornerback. But they look so. When I saw them, they look so small. They look really small, and I don't know if they got the depth to kind of go through a whole season of the Pac-12 right now. I just don't know. But you telling me if you tell me that, I think Colorado could probably potentially upset TCU. A lot of newness going on for TCU this year. Running back, receiver, quarterback, and a second-year head coach. Will Duke give Clemson problems? I appreciate I asked this man to be interactive tonight, and then he giving me he's doing his job. He's doing his damn job. I appreciate that. He's doing his damn job. Will Duke give Clemson problems? I've already gone on record saying this. I don't know what the point spread is. I haven't looked. I should find out what the point spread is. But if it's double digits, if it's if it's two scores, I would take the points for Duke. I swear to God. I know it's Duke. I know what you people are thinking. I know what you guys are thinking. It's a 13-point spread. I would probably take Duke with the points. I like Riley Leonard. I like Calhoun. It's another receiver that they have that I really like more. Now defensively, I don't know if they can hold up for 4 quarters against Clemson. But offensively, they're gonna be able to do some things. I bet they're gonna be able to do some things offensively, moving the ball against them. 13 points is a lot on the road. Monday night, Clemson bringing in a new quarterback, basically. New offensive coordinator. Now, their defense is gonna be tremendous. But I think Duke could definitely cover that spread. I would be inclined to take those 13 points. So yeah, I would. Yeah, who knows what Colorado's gonna look like? Yeah, I agree. I mean, we don't. You got a lot of guys who transferred in, but you know those guys haven't played D1 football. I know you got some D1 guys sprinkled in, but that's where the D1 and the FCS separates. That's where it separates the depth of talent. Everybody got 1, 2, 3 guys, right? Everybody got 1, 2, 3 guys, but then you got 10, 15, 20 NFL guys, right? And you got one NFL guy. And then not to mention the depth. So you're coming from having 60, I don't know what the scholarship numbers are, like maybe 60 down there. Now you got 85. So, can you fill out a roster with 85 D1 quality players right now? You don't have, I don't think, 85 D1 quality players. It's no way possible. That team went 1-11 last year. And you bring in a whole new staff, all this. So I don't think there's no way you can do that. FSU week 1 upset alert. I don't call it. Anytime you're in the top 10, I don't call it an upset. First week of the season anyway, because we don't know what these teams are. Now we are presuming that these teams are really good. We have anointed them as such. That's what I do. I like both teams. I like both teams on paper. but I'm not gonna call a top 10 matchup an upset. I mean, it's hard to find those when the first week of the season. Like it had to be a definitive. Like I just, that's like Michigan App State when App State played North Carolina. Like those teams of that ilk. If you are a Power Five team, both those teams are top 10 teams. I don't call nobody an upset. Whoever loses, lose. I don't think it's an upset. North Carolina, South Carolina. I love that matchup. Real. That's a great matchup. Two really good quarterbacks. You know, 2 years ago, it might be 3 years ago. 3 years ago, heading into, I don't say his junior year, Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma was predicted to be the number one overall draft pick in the NFL. 3 years ago, just 3 short years ago. And then he got benched, and then he transferred. Now he's at South Carolina. So I like what I saw from Spencer Rattler toward the end of the season, but he can be erratic. He's been really inconsistent throwing the football at times. He finished on a high note. They did. They got a dog of a receiver in Juice Wells at Carolina. Xavier Leggett. Is it Xander Leggett or Xavier Leggett? I feel like he's been at school for like 9 years. Like he's been at school for like 9 years, right? Like how does he? He's been there for a long time. But North Carolina's good. Drake May, who's the NFL scouts are just salivating over Drake May, but they don't have any defense whatsoever. They can't. This would be Gene Chis's second year. Maybe they can make some improvement, but they lost Josh Downs, their final receiver last year. They brought in a transfer, and I'm not sure he's going to get cleared. He wasn't cleared this week, obviously. I think they denied his waiver. He was supposed to be a big-time transfer, JUCO guy, I believe, that should have helped the receiving core. But Drake May going to do what he does. Now, I don't know will it be good as last year because of the weapons around him? He had great weapons around him last year. I like South Carolina's game. I just think they're a more well-rounded football team. Can they find some other defensive stars? I like Dial, the safety, but that's about it. And, defensively that stand out to me on their defense. Can they find some dogs? Can they find a running game with McDowell? I know DeCarrion Joyner has moved to running back because they lost Marshawn Lawrence in the transfer portal. No Jaheim Bell, obviously. But I like what Shane Beamer's doing. The energy, the passion, the recruiting right now is fantastic. So there's a lot of energy in the program. Like Spencer Rattler, what he did the last few weeks of the season. Hopefully he can build off of that. They got a new offensive coordinator. We'll see how that goes as well, too. So, but I like South Carolina in this game, not North Carolina in this game. It ain't got nothing to do with me being from South Carolina. So get that out your mind. Let's see what we got. Got a lot going on. TCU definitely lost a lot. This Triple B McCray. TCU definitely lost a lot, but they're still going to be decent at the least. Yeah, I mean, Sonny Dykes. We give Sonny Dykes a lot of credit. Offensively, he's a genius. He's one of those guys who's created that. So we'll see. I mean, they were breaking in a lot of guys. And I don't know frankly, I don't know any of the guys because they don't recruit that well. Elite, I should say. So I don't know who those guys are going to be. I don't know who's going to be at quarterback, who's the receiver, I don't know. So we shall see. But offensively, you're right. I trust Sonny Dykes to put an offense on the field. That should be good. Real said Prime wouldn't surprise me. No, I'm not. It's just a 1-11 football team. They are what they are. They're not going 11-1. so they're not going 11-1. They're going 1-11. They're not going 1-11. They're not going 11-1. What you say, bowl game surprise? Would a bowl game surprise you? That's what you expect from Prime, a bowl game. You know what I'm saying? So I give you that. Bowl game, maybe. Prime might just have them boys ready in Colorado. We'll see. That what Triple B McCray says. Yeah, I think in time. And then they move to the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. So it's gonna be a chance for somebody to stake claim to being the new team with a Big 12. That's going to happen soon because Oklahoma will be gone next year. So that's going to happen. I'm looking for a big year for Spencer Rattler. Definitely got some good receivers. Triple B McCray. I agree. I love Juice. Love Juice Wells. The NFL prospects, NFL scouts love him too. like a first round pick. And like I said, Leggett been at school. Leggett been at school for a long time, man. How's he had eligibility left? I mean, for real, it's like it's like he's been there for a minute. Xavier Leggett, like he's been there for a long time. But I like what, like I said, I like what Shane Beamer has done. I love it. Love all the interaction too. I love it. Love y'all comment. I love it. Yeah, Spencer has to be better this year. I agree, real. Got to be consistent. No Jaheim Bell. Of course, he gonna stay at Florida State, man. Obviously, seems like Carolina has a pipeline of transfer that heads to Florida State. This is what's been going on recently. If you haven't been following, Go Gamecock said Triple B McCray. I didn't realize you was a Gamecock fan, but I didn't know that about you. But there you are. Represent. Red Walker Gamecocks beat Clemson this year. Ooh, question mark. Man, it's so early in the season. I gotta make a prediction about the game already early in the season. It'll be in Columbia. If I just go into the season right now, obviously this could change. I would lean toward Columbia because they have the things that I prefer that you have going into one of those games. It's at home. They have the experienced quarterback. They have the knowledge of knowing they just beat Clemson last year. So those three things right there would lead me to believe that the Gamecocks will have the edge today. But let's see how the season plays out, and we'll revisit that obviously as the time goes on. But if you had to put a gun in my head today, I would say Carolina. Triple B McCray. If Colorado can win 6 games, it's a complete upgrade, and then maybe they're a couple of years away from real contention. I agree. A bowl game for Deion Sanders this year is an absolute win. You talking about a complete turnaround. 1-11? 1-11 in a Power 5 conference, and you go to next year and you get to a bowl game? That's a hell of a job. That's a hell of a job. In my eyes, that's a hell of a job. We'll see because they're in Columbia. Triple McCray probably was answering what the real said because he's a Gamecock fan. I agree with that too, but it's early in the season. I love what I like some things about Clemson. We talked about Clemson a lot last week. It's some things I like, but it's a lot of newness. It's a lot of newness. Garrett Riley coming over from TCU. It's the OC. Clay Klubnik is the full-time starter now. The O-line has some work to do. Receiving core, I'm not as high on. I haven't been high on for a while. I do like Antonio Williams. Bo Collins kind of came on toward the end of the season. I love Will Shipley. I think he's one of the best backs in the country. Love him a lot. So I would lean on him a lot. To just turn around and hand it off to one. But a lot more had to change with Clemson offensively. I thought the play calling last year was horrible. I thought the O-line play was terrible. I thought the receivers couldn't get no separation. The quarterback didn't help at all with his decision making, his timing. Everything just went wrong offensively. It wasn't all DJ fault. He got the best some culpability. You the starting quarterback. So yeah, I don't think Cade just fixes it like that. I don't think he just comes in and turn around. Maybe this offense Garrett Riley runs will suit him better. If it would have fit, if it also would have suited DJ as well. So, but we gotta see what Clemson got. I like the linebackers Carter and Trotter, two of the best in the country. Secondary, older. I want to see some of them guys do something. D-line, a good guy. I talked about Xavier. I talked about Leggett from South Carolina, been in school for a long time. Xavier Thomas been in school for a long time. Like Xavier Thomas been in school. Man, he's been there for a minute. He may have played with Deshaun Watson. He might have played with Deshaun Watson. That's how long Xavier Thomas been in school. He may have played with Deshaun Watson. But we'll see. Clemson's gonna be good. We killed Clemson all year last year. They still won 11 games in the ACC. That's how the standard has been set at Clemson so high that they won 11 games and they fired the offensive coordinator. They got rid of they benched the starting quarterback. That's how much the standard, and that's what I want Florida to get back to. That's what I want. When the standard of excellence is so high that 11-3 it's not even good enough It's not good enough. That's where I want to be at. Early playoff predictions. I already had. I mean, I gave him last week. I gave him a week ago on the preview show. We had like a preview show last week. I had Michigan, USC, LSU, Texas last week. Now I'm already telling you, I don't USC already makes me nervous. There's no way they can get through. There's no way they can get through the Pac-12 with defense like that. Let me get back to that point. But first, let me welcome everybody who's joining. If you ain't just getting in, welcome to Sentell's Intel Live on YouTube. It's the Undisputed Champion of Sports Podcast, the best damn sports podcast period. I'm your host, the sensational Sentell Wideman. We're moments away. Oh, we probably got kickoff night games. We got some kickoffs right now. College football, 11 games tonight. We're talking nothing but college football, getting you primed and ready for the start of the season. Got games tonight and tomorrow, all the way into Sunday and into Labor Day evening. So that's where we are right now. He asking me for my playoff picks. I gave him last week: USC, LSU, Michigan, and Texas. I'm already telling you, USC got me nervous. I wish there was another way for me to spin this, but there's no other way to spin this. USC has me. I mean, USC got me nervous because they defensively. You gotta be able to stop somebody at some point. You gotta be able to stop people at some point. You just do. There's no way around it. You gotta be able to stop people, and they can't do it. So I won't keep a pick because that's just from a morale. Not a, that's not what I'm looking for. It's just being what's the word I was looking for? It just slips me, but honoring, I get integrity. That's the word I'm looking for. Integrity of this, because now I'm one game in, I would probably have dropped USC out, but I'm gonna keep them in because that's what I had. Uh, Triple B McCray said Georgia probably still the team to beat. I would agree with that, but no team has a three-peat in the modern era of football. So history tells us they're not going to win it, and the lot of newness that they have, they're going to run through most of their opponents. The schedule is not daunting, but we've already gone over why the schedule is not daunting. It's not Georgia's fault that the schedule is trash. It is not Georgia's fault that the schedule is perceived to be trash. It is not their fault. But I'm not a believer in Carson Beck. They lost their offensive coordinator who was really, really good. They lost some couple running backs in training camps that have gone down. And I know they rebuild and reload on defense, but you still bring in some new starters on defensive side of the ball too. But at the end of the day, of course, they'd be reckoned with. But I don't see them repeating because history tells me you don't win 3 championships in a row. And they start off the number 1 preseason ranking, which hasn't been good to anybody as of late. It's been several years since the number 1 team has started the season 1 and actually won the national championship. He has FSU, Georgia, Southern Cal, FSU, Ohio State, Southern Cal, and Georgia array of Final Four. See, Ohio State, see Georgia. I don't like the newness. Kyle McCord, whatever quarterback. I know we think that they got these Marvin Harrison Jr. and all these terrific receivers, and they just gonna keep stockpiling this talent. What people have not been paying attention to Ohio State, and I keep saying this, they have fallen off defensively. They have turned into a Big 12 team. They gonna score a lot of points, but they can't stop anybody right now. You look at the Georgia game and just any other Michigan games. Anytime they run up on elite players and elite talent, they can't stop anybody. They can't stop the run. You can't tell me the last great interior lineman or linebacker at Ohio State because they have sold out and went completely offensively. Even Urban had great defensive teams. But these teams are not great defensively. They can't stop anybody. That's why I'm not killing the pick. A lot of people are going to pick Ohio State because it's Ohio State. We've seen what they've been. But they've lost to Michigan 2 years in a row. I knew they were going to get Georgia fits because they had the kind of offense that's going to give Georgia fits. They have an elite quarterback who can do things offensively. That's what gives Georgia any defense fits. When you run up on those elite offensive teams, they're just going to give you fits. But the difference is Georgia can get a stop here and there. Ohio State ain't stopping nobody with a competent offense right now. They can't get off the field. That's the dirty little secret about Ohio State that no one wants to talk about right now. They can't get off the field. And that's a huge problem. They can't get off the field. Um, USC, I like that pick because I picked them too, but they can't. They can't stop anybody. Good God, they can't stop anybody. So I don't know what we're gonna do with USC. FSU pick, obviously that's a little biased there, but they good. They could they make the playoffs? Yes. I don't think they will, but could they? Yes, absolutely. They can make the playoffs. They have the kind of talent and the kind of roster that can make the playoffs. They could do that. I don't think they will, but they can. They certainly can get there. And then Georgia's Georgia. We already mentioned that Georgia could definitely get there for sure, no doubt about it. FCC is always tough though, bro. I mean, it's yeah. You gotta play those games. I agree with you. You know, you gotta play those games. SEC gonna have talented roster that can come up and bite you. But on paper, when you look at it, you like, no, they're not. None of them teams can beat Georgia because of who Georgia is, you know. And then some other reason is because of who that team or the others are, you know. But you suspect, you know, Georgia will be favored in every game they play. Not, I mean, you're gonna win, but they'll be favored in every game they play, right? So that's the thing, you know. But SC is tough, of course. They have the most talented players every year that come out of the draft. They don't make you the best conference every year, but when you play an elite level talent every week, that means you got to bring your A game every week because you're playing some of the top tier talent. Triple B McCray. I'm out on FSU. USC got no defense. I agree. They scared me. You know what I'm saying? I was in here singing the praise of USC. I was in here pom-pomming for USC. And then they played San Jose State last week, and I'm like, Jesus. But that was week 0. Maybe Alex Grinch and the crew can come up with something. This is not going to work. This is just like Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma. You cannot outscore everybody. You just can't do it. At some point, you got to get some stops. You got to be able to get off the field. You know, you got to be able to make teams earn their way down the field. Like, you got to. Nobody can stop today's offense. You're right. I don't expect you to stop them. No, I don't expect you to stop the great elite offenses. Absolutely not. You're right. You're not stopping USC consistently. You're not going to do that. That's not going to happen. Ohio State, when they're rolling, you're not stopping them. When Alabama had the Mac Jones and Tours and all those, you're not stopping that offenses consistently. You're never going to do that. But you got to be able to get off the field. You're not going to outscore everybody. And when at the end of the day, you're not winning a championship when you can't get no stops. You have to be able to get some stops. You're not going to outscore everybody. And no team yet, maybe LSU, but even in that championship game in 2019, LSU team, second half, they played great. They played great second half. They played great. And that defense got better and better as the year went along. It wasn't a great defense by no means. But they were an opportunistic defense. They could get stops. They could force some turnovers. They had some talent on the defense side of the ball. I'm not sure what they gave up per game during the season that year, but they were able to, they shut Clemson out the second half now. If you go watch the game second half, they shut Clemson out. So they had the capability of playing defense. You're not finna win it without outscoring something. It's not happening. It's not happening. And I know some of those numbers, like I say, that's why it's tough when you watch college football and you see all these teams at the top in scoring defense and total defense. And then you got to look at the opponents they're playing. Look at the teams they're playing. Look where their offenses are ranked. That's how they build up to that for. So that's why I like it when they get on the field with like talent. I always say a like talent. When you match up with a like talent, that's why I knew Ohio State and Georgia was going to be a dog. I knew Ohio State had a better chance of beating Georgia than anybody in the country last year. Because they matched up so well because they had a like talent offensively. Offensive NFL talent that could scare you to death. TCU, I knew they had no chance against Georgia. I knew they had no chance against Georgia. So when they put a team, even though TCU was good offensively, look at the defense they had to random numbers against. Now when they ran up a defense like that, who Georgia getting exposed playing some good offense getting us some numbers last year against Tennessee, play Alabama or something like that. Who's gonna just score points because they so elite, Bryce Young and people like that ilk. So you gonna look at this year like this year the SEC. It's gonna be tough to gauge Georgia because those offenses ain't elite offenses on paper. None of those offenses are lighting up the scoreboard. We don't know what Tennessee going to be. We don't know what Florida's going to be. Carolina, no Kentucky offense never really good. Alabama's look like they're going backwards from an offensive standpoint. So we don't know. And that's going to be the thing about when you get to the Final Four and you get to the playoffs and you have to match up with teams who got different kind of styles that you done seen all year long. Now what do? You haven't seen an offense like that all season. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? That's the chess piece. That's the chess match of going into a college football season. But man, I'm jacked up, man. We in here, man. I got about 17 more minutes, man, and I'm gonna be out of here, man. But we got Florida, man, Utah. That's the big game. But Minnesota, Nebraska playing. We got new coach at Nebraska. Matt Rule is there. He brought over Jeff Sims from Georgia Tech. We'll see how that goes. Minnesota, this is a new Minnesota. PJ Fleck had Tanner Morgan, who was at school. He was at school when so long. So you got he was there. Muhammad Ibrahim, the running back, was there forever. So they are gone. So this is a new quarterback for PJ Fleck, new running back for PJ Fleck. They got some receivers that been there, but a lot of newness with Nebraska and Minnesota. Again, Nebraska, Coach Rule coming in, see what he can do falling in Scott Frost. Aaron McCoy says, hopefully Mertz don't look like Wisconsin Mertz. We all do. We all Florida fans, we all agree with you on that. We all would agree 100,000% that we don't want to see that. I think we're going to see a much improved guy. I don't want to jinx it and go stupid crazy, but I'm on record. He'll have his best statistical season he's ever had in college. I just think the system fits him better. He loves Billy Napier. From his own coach's mouth, Paul Chris, out of his own mouth, we misused Graham Mertz. This is on record. This is fact. We misused that kid at Wisconsin. So I think he has a lot of talent. He was a highly ranked kid out of high school. So we'll see if Billy can get the most out of him. I think he's gonna make it so quarterback friendly for him. So he have a fail safe. So it's gonna be impossible for him to look that bad. Will he be Joe Burrow 2019? No. But will he be 59%? I don't think so. I think he'll be more around 63, 64, hopefully 65%. That's what I would hope. But I would go on record 63, 64, 65% completion percentage. So can we get that? We're walking Wisconsin Mertz on the way. I just see a different guy, off season, so all these things are irrelevant. The talking points, how he looks in practice, how he walks around, the things he says. It's all irrelevant until he gets out of the football field. But we shall see. Some games Saturday of note. I mentioned TCU Colorado prime debut, so that's a big deal. Ohio's playing Indiana, a Big Ten matchup to start the season. Don't know who's going to start quarterback for Ohio State post CJ Stroud era. Wisconsin, Luke Fickell takes over at Wisconsin. We mentioned them a bunch on the program. I don't know how we didn't get to Wisconsin. Luke Fickell comes over from Cincinnati. Did a lot of great things in Cincinnati. Remember, he was at Ohio State before, the defensive coordinator. Did a lot of good things there. So he's bringing his brand of football. They brought over the transfer quarterback, Tanner Mordecai. I think he's from SMU, I want to say. He throws the ball a lot. So this offense is going to look a lot different in Wisconsin. So this is going to be a different thing to watch for this. I don't see a 3 tight end fullback set coming. I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of 3x1 sets. I think that's 11 personnel. If I'm correct, three receivers sets in the future, spreading the ball out. We'll see how well that translates in late November in Madison, Wisconsin, throwing the ball all over the field. But we shall see. Aaron McCoy gives me Minnesota tight end Spanford is a dog though. I gotta check him out. You told me check Span Ford out. I'll check him out. I'm glad you give me that Big Ten knowledge. I needed that. I needed that. Like I said, I know they lost a lot of people who've been there for years. You get used to these guys because they've been there so long, and now because now they got to bring in a whole new crop of people that Minnesota's bringing in because it's a whole new team this year for them. We mentioned and then Sunday night, LSU Florida State, big time matchup. I want to go Florida. I wanted to go Florida State just because of all the things that LSU's going through right now. It seems like they got this bad juju going, right? Uh, Mason Smith is out, the fine D tackle. They lost the backup running back. Emery is out. He lost his cornerback early in fall camp. So like the juju, right? And the only thing that, like I told you, the teams almost mirror each other. They come off strong seasons last year. Two quarterbacks that are back that expected to be a lot better. But the only separation that I see that gives me that makes me give LSU a slight edge and not picking Florida State is Brian Kelly. It's the Brian Kelly effect. I saw that team last year get better and better and better as the season went on, and that's how you know coaching, great coaching, when you see teams get better and better throughout the football season. I just watched LSU get better and better and better as the season go along, and I like this matchup. Revenge factor may be a possibility. Florida State win that game last year, but I think it's going to be a tremendous game. Florida State got a lot of talented receivers. LSU used to have those great DBs that could match up. I don't know what they got there right now, but they better hang on to their hat. It's going to be a tough day for them. But like I said, I'm leaning more Florida State. I want to get it at LSU because of the coaching. Boy, I'm really on the fence about this game right now. I'll try to give a prediction for the end of the show. Matt Rule back where he needs to be in college. I agree. I think he's a great college football coach. He did a tremendous job at Baylor, following Art Browse and that chaos that was there, and he did a tremendous job. I'm not faulting Matt Rule for going to the NFL because if they're gonna pay that kind of money to come to the NFL, then you go to the NFL. Even though I believe he probably believe that he's not an NFL. He wasn't an NFL guy, but somebody said, "Hey, we think you're an NFL guy. We want to pay you." Take the money. And I don't blame Matt Rule, but I'm agreeing with you. He's a program builder. He did it at Baylor after some very tough situation you could be put in. I mean, you talking about what happened at Baylor with Art Browse. A lot of people wanted to follow that mess, and he did. He went down there and went down. Red Walker, don't blame it on Juju. Blame Jordan Travis. I'm just telling you. LSU got a lot of bad juju, and that's Louisiana thing, right? Juju, there's a lot of bad juju going on. You know what I mean? No, I'm telling you right now, I can't. I'm having a hard time picking this game. I'm having a hard time. I want to say Florida State. I think my head says Florida State. My heart says LSU. That's really tough. And then Clemson Duke Monday night. We talked about that. Riley Leonard. And Duke, I think they could do some things offensively. Can't wait to see Clemson, new look, new offensive coordinator, what they're going to look like on Monday night, Labor Day night. That should be a fun matchup. And then, like I say, we still, my playoff picks, USC, Michigan, Texas, and USC. What did I say? USC, Texas, LSU, Michigan, right? That's what I had. I want to be just bold and just pick Texas to win it out. Pick Texas to win it all. I really do. I like Texas a lot going into the season. I think year 3 up on the shark with Quinn Ewers at the Big 12. They should win the Big 12. And then we'll see. I want to go Michigan, but I've seen them in the playoff the last 2 years, and good God Almighty, they've got dog walked the last 2 years in the playoffs. I know the TCU game was close in score, but the fact that TCU scored so many points against defense, here we go, that was ranked number 1 out. They were definitely top 3 and scoring in total defense. And that's what I mean about these defenses. Who are you playing offensively that you building these numbers up? To where you run up on TCU and you give up 1 million points. They gave up 1 million points against TCU last year in that bowl game. So it's hard for me to pick Michigan and win it all. Do think they get there. USC can't stop anybody. So I'm enough scared. I'm so scared they probably not even gonna make the playoffs now. And then LSU. I don't know what the defense is gonna be. I believe in Brian Kelly. I'm really buying stock in Brian Kelly. I believe in what they got. Um, but what they gonna be defensively? I just think Texas. I'm just thinking Texas. That's all I can think. Texas. Tennessee, man. They got the fifth year senior. Oh, that's Aaron McCoy asking me about Tennessee. They got the fifth year guy from Michigan. God, what's the guy's name? Jesus, it's on the tip of my tongue. Joe Milton. Joe Milton, 6'5", got the biggest arm I ever seen, but he can't hit the barn side of a. He couldn't hit the broad side of a barn. He couldn't throw a beach ball into the ocean from the shore. I don't trust Joe Milton at all. I know what they did last year. I thought they found lightning in a bottle with Hendon Hooker. Jalen Hyde was tremendous. Cedric Tillman was really, really good. And I think Hendon Hooker fit that offense well. I don't see Joe Milton as a guy, as a system guy like that, who precision, the timing that it takes to run that hyper offense, Josh Heupel's offense. I don't see that in Joe Milton. I think a guy who's slow in processing information, he could be a little different this year, but I don't see him being as efficient and as dialed into that offense as Hendon Hooker was. This is a big, strong guy who likes to throw it down the field. Not a guy who likes to rely on accuracy and touch and gets the ball in his hand quickly. I don't know. I know he's been talking a lot of jump. I know he's been very competent in the things he's been saying, but I'm not buying Joe Milton. I think Tennessee caught lightning in the bottle last year because even the defense they couldn't stop anybody. I just think they were special offensively because of Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyde. Jalen Hyde shows you what he was. Cedric Tillman before the injury probably would have been a higher draft pick. He's in the NFL. Hendon Hooker before he got hurt would have been a higher draft pick. So they had a lot of talent guys, and the running back room was pretty good last year. I don't know how many of them guys returned, but they had two really good running backs last year too. I just don't see Joe Milton as a guy that can run this offense the way that Hendon Hooker ran it last year. I don't know what their record gonna be, but I definitely don't see them being the team that they were last year, where they were in the top 10 for a long part of the season. You saw when Hendon Hooker got hurt, they just changed. They wasn't the same offensively or defensively. So I'm not expecting what I saw from Tennessee last year at all. Um, Mr. KD said, if game come down to Mertz, we in trouble. If he can just not turn it over and move the chains, we win no problem. Um, at some point, that's always we always talk about that. We always talk about let's make the game as easy for the quarterback as possible. And at the end of the day, so like with Utah, I told you about they're gonna try to make the game about the running game and not make you got to make some throws. This is it. It's gonna be a third and long. It's gonna be a third and 7 8. There's gonna be a time where you gotta step back in the pocket and make a throw to convert a first down. It's gonna be a throw in the red zone where you gotta get it in there to make a touchdown. That's just the fact of the matter. You can't say just gonna run the ball, hand it off, hope it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 every third down. That has to be per. Now, if you get that every time, you've done a hell of a job. But at the end of the day, it's gonna come a point in the game where you're gonna have to make a third down and long throw several times. You can't hide your quarterback in football. You can't hide your quarterback anymore. These defenses are equipped enough to make you have a quarterback have to make plays, whether it would be with his arm or his legs. He's going to have to make some plays. It'd be nice if he don't have to make any big plays. If he was just out there and you win the game, that means you've done a hell of a job. But the chances of that are not great. So you got to make some plays. Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over. Anytime you turn the ball over on the road, it is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for disaster. You turn the ball over on the road multiple times, you're probably going to lose. But you can't hide your quarterback. Just like Utah's going to try to hide their guy as much as they can by running the football, short throws. It's going to come a point in the game, it's 38, 39. 38, 39, 30. That's just the way it goes. Can he make those throws at that moment? That's going to be the key. So that's what it's going to come down to. Can Graham Mertz make those plays? I expect him to be, again, I've already said this, I expect him to be a lot better version of himself. Just from what I've seen. Just the practices, like I said, I mentioned Billy Napier, just the detail oriented that he is. That's what I expect. It's a tough place to play. Your team ain't lost in 2 years at home. This is a tough place to go. They won their last 12 home games. So this is a tough place to play. You always when you have a new season, are you confident? Are you nervous? As Gator fans, it's always a little of both. It's an excitement to it too. You feel confident in the work they put in. You believe in what the work they've done, but you're also nervous because you got to sit on the field. It's a road game too. I would feel like not less nervous if you're at home. This is a road game. Now you got a new quarterback on the road. Not a new quarterback who played a lot of football, but basically a lot of young players. If you look at that roster, a lot of young players playing tonight in Florida. Lots of young players. A lot of young players playing big time college football on the road in a hospital environment for the first time ever. This is gonna be unique. This is gonna be fun. For me for about 30 minutes, and then it'll be nerve wracking for the rest of the game. So yeah, this will be fun for me for about 30 minutes, and then it'll be nerve wracking the rest of the way. But I cannot wait, man. Again, I want to thank all of you people for tuning in and watching tonight. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to hit that subscribe button, and like me and comment and do all that good stuff here, man, because we need it. We need all the input. We need all the commentary we can get right here on Sentell. Got about 2 minutes left in the program, and then we out of here. And then we got some games on right now, and then we're gonna have Florida and Utah at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and it's gonna be fabulous, man. It's gonna be fun to watch Nate in his second year. Fun to see what Graham Mertz is going to do. This is all about Graham Mertz. Everybody talking about Graham Mertz. What are you going to get? What are you going to see? It's his chance. It's his chance to quiet all the haters, quiet all the doubters. It is his chance to put that to bed tonight if he can come out and have a great game. All right. Well, thank you all again for tuning in. Rail Walker, you did your thing, boy. You said you was coming through. You came through. You came through for you, boy. I didn't think I was going to make it an hour, but you came through for you, boy. I appreciate you. Well, thank all you other people for tuning in and commenting as well. Appreciate the love. Again, subscribe to the channel, y'all. Hey, enjoy the college football weekend. Tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, man. Enjoy it. Don't go too crazy. Just enjoy it. Live in the moment, baby. This has been Sentell, the best damn sports podcast, period. The undisputed champion of sports podcast. I will see you guys next Tuesday. No show Monday. No show Labor Day. But I'll be back Tuesday for a show. And then we'll go from there. But I want to, again, thank you all for tuning in and watching the program, man. Until the next time, I'm out. Peace.